On this episode, we talk about our favorite Disney animal sidekicks. Today is January 27th, 2023, and this is episode 534 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. Then if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you'll get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. If you are looking for grocery delivery to your Walt Disney Resort or beyond, highly recommend that you check out Vacation Grocery Delivery. Everything is delivered for the exact store price by their team of current and former Disney cast members, so there are absolutely no price markups and one set delivery fee. Plus, they can deliver alcohol without you being present. And if you're looking for the latest in Disney World, Disneyland, and Universal news, look no further than Pirates and Princesses. They're giving you news, views, and reviews of all things Disney and Universal. Head on over to piratesandprincesses.net. And then finally, if you're getting ready to plan your next Disney or Universal vacation, looking to go on a cruise or pretty much travel anywhere else in the world, head to mainstmagictravel.com and fill out a form for a free quote. Our travel services are completely free to you. So Rhonda, what are we talking about today in our hopefully somewhat evergreen topic until new Disney movies come out?
Animal sidekicks.
Yeah.
That's fun. Like,
it is.
Animals. So
Animals only.
Like Beauty and the Beast, I thought Chip, but he's not an animal. He is a teacup.
He is a teacup. Well, he's a boy.
Well,
He's
yeah.
both. You could. I guess we could have gone with the Ottoman, which was
The
a
little
dog
dog.
in real life.
I know. He was super cute.
Well, so here's what we were looking at is, and we'll do a whole other episode on, I guess, non-animal sidekicks, where you could come in with like a Lumiere and a Cogsworth and things like that from Beauty and the Beast. But this is going to focus on animals. And then we were thinking like, all right, do we want to be animal sidekicks that are only sidekicks to humans? Can they be a sidekick to another animal? And basically, our only definition is they cannot be a leading role or character, and they must be an animal.
Okay.
So they can be an animal sidekick to a leading role animal, right?
How many? Holy moly.
So
Did
there's
you
a
look
lot.
this up?
Yeah. So I mean,
Okay.
there's a ton, and we narrowed it down, and we'll go over a little bit of that list. We basically narrowed it down to a little over 20, right? So before we kind of talk about how we came up with the list, what for you, because we're going to talk our favorite animal sidekicks,
Yes.
which is very different than possibly the best.
Mm-hmm.
What for you, as you were thinking of your list, constitutes making them your favorite as opposed to the best?
I think they interact with the character.
Mm-hmm.
I think how they make me laugh and I really like them, and I don't know, something like that, I guess.
I'd agree with all the same things.
Okay.
It's the ones that I think I'm drawn to. I think,
Right.
yeah, humor is huge. I think the way that they support the leading character in the way that I want them to,
Mhm.
Because there are some that are the best sidekicks. Like, for example, did not make our list, right? But we're going to mention Sebastian from The Little Mermaid.
Right.
Sebastian is an absolutely outstanding animal sidekick because he is constantly looking out for what he feels is Ariel's best interest.
Right.
As opposed to me kind of feeling like, well, you're kind of messing with her vibe, dude. Like, she wants to go on land. She wants to be human. She wants the, what do you call them, feet.
But
he's a great sidekick,
the
and he's probably
dad-
one of the best, but maybe not my favorite because he kind of, what is it, Harsh is my mellow? Was that from, where was
I
that
have
from? Was
no
that a
idea.
Biodome? Was that a Pauly Shore
I was trying to
reference?
say, are you trying to be like
I
a
think
child?
it is. Yeah, Harsh is my mellow. And this is way back. That's Pauly Shore.
Oh.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and I mean, but like, I do, but at the same time, like, Sebastian's just following the king of the ocean, King Triton.
that's true.
And in the end, I mean, he is pretty
He feels
pretty good.
Yeah, he feels as though, and he does come around, but most of the movie, he feels as though he is doing what he believes is in Ariel's best interest because of the king.
Correct.
Not necessarily what is in her best interest for her, which is why I think he didn't make our list, right?
Yeah.
Is that
Well,
fair?
I guess. I think people right now are going, how did they not make he not make your
Oh,
list?
don't worry. Here's how we're going to work it. So we basically came down with a list. There ended up being just shy of 25 different animal sidekicks. And real quick, some of the ones that did not make our combined list were Sebastian, Tuk Tuk from Raya and the Last Dragon, who I actually think is a wonderful sidekick.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it comes into the top realm of our favorites, just
Correct.
doesn't make it. The White Rabbit, Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
A little neurotic, but I think, again, best interest in mind.
For a very important date.
Yeah, best interest, right?
Yeah.
Thumper, Bambi.
Yeah.
We just met Thumper.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Super cool.
Turk from Tarzan. This one I thought was interesting, but I thought it could have made a list for us to figure out as Piglet and Winnie the Pooh. And I really think this could have been any of the supporting characters.
Like Tigger,
Yeah.
Eeyore.
I don't know that I've ever said this publicly.
Uh-oh.
I love the Winnie the Pooh ride, just based on it being a great, well-manufactured dark ride. I can't stand Winnie the Pooh.
Oh my goodness.
In any of the supporting characters.
What?
All right.
Really?
Yeah. Piglet is insufferable. Eeyore is the biggest downer out of almost any character. Tigger is possibly dabbled in illegal substances.
Oh my
Right?
goodness.
I love Christopher Robin, actually. Pooh's all right. I mean, to just eat what you want and not wear pants, I think that's pretty cool. But
He's a bear.
he is a bear.
He's
not
a cute little bear.
I'm not a Winnie the Pooh fan at all.
Oh,
I did like the
wow.
Christopher Robin live action movie, though, shockingly.
Okay.
Are you a Pooh fan?
I mean, yeah, I like it. I don't.
I like the
dislike
rabbit,
it.
whose
You
name
like the rabbit?
escapes me. But he's also extremely neurotic.
Oh.
Like it is a cast of
Rabbit.
characters. Is his name Rabbit? That shows how much I don't care about Winnie the Pooh, and I do apologize
his
to
name
anyone
is-
that loves Winnie the Pooh.
my
Miko
God,
and
that's
Flit
funny.
from Pocahontas, I think, are wonderful sidekicks. Just didn't make it on our list. We have a good friend named his cat Miko.
Oh, yeah.
Jiminy Cricket, Pinocchio. I mean, this is Jiminy Cricket's.
He's a conscience.
He's his conscience. Yeah, outstanding character,
We never
outstanding
saw the-
sidekick. We have not watched the live action
We
one
need to
yet.
do that.
I
Maybe we do
know.
that tonight.
Do that tonight. That's fair. Baloo from the Jungle Book. It's a wonderful sidekick.
Yeah, I like him, but
Pegasus, Hercules. We could probably do a whole top 5 horses.
yeah, that's true.
And then finally, Iago from Aladdin, who is interesting because it's a villain sidekick.
Yeah, and that's when I saw it earlier. I was like asking about it, like, so Iago, like, which is a great one, but he is to a villain.
Yeah.
So that's
Doesn't make the cut as favorite, right?
right. I think because, I mean, he doesn't even come around.
Yeah.
He's just a great sidekick to
Jafar.
Jafar.
He's absolutely outstanding.
Correct.
So here's what we did. We had this list we actually broke it down to 24 animal sidekicks. And then what we did is I had a list of 24 on one sheet, and then Rhonda had a list of 24 on another sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And what did we do from those two sheets?
You made me pick the ones that I like the most, and then you pick the ones that you like the most, and then you put them together.
We cross-referenced those lists.
Mm-hmm.
How many do you think we had that were the same? I mean, it's right in front of us, but I don't know if you counted yet.
I started to say, I thought you said like 7.
7.
Yeah.
So 7 of
You
ours
told me.
did match up and correspond. 3 for each of us did not. So we basically now have the top 13 of our favorite Disney animal sidekicks. And I'm going to let you start with your 3 that did not make my list.
Oh.
Right. And then, as always, we like to add a little bit extra. So we added in a little bit of trivia. So if you want to go ahead and we'll have you read who the sidekick is, I'll give a little bit of trivia and then we can kind of break it down and talk. Right. So who was one of your animal sidekicks that did not make my list?
Zazu from The Lion King.
So Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge's first Abyssinian ground hornbill chick is named after Zazu and dubbed his cousin.
Aww.
Neat little bit of trivia.
That's awesome.
Why Zazu? Because
I love him.
I liken him to Sebastian.
Okay. But, and I see that, but I don't know. I just love him.
Yeah.
He's just so, like, he helps too in the end, and he's doing what the king says, but at the same time, like, I mean, Simba's a child.
Yeah.
So,
Like
I mean,
Ariel?
yeah, but Ariel was older.
16.
Okay. But Simba shows to be a cub,
Yeah.
which to me would be like 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's not even a year yet.
So do you think there was much
Maybe
more...
a year old.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Do you think then there's much more of a responsibility on Zazu than there was Sebastian to have that? Or because let's look, a 6 month to 1 year old lion cub compared to a 16-year-old mermaid, they're probably neither one is making the best decisions for themselves, right? Which is why we have a Zazu and Sebastian.
Correct.
And I think that was the only reason I didn't pick him is because it was so. I think he and Sebastian they mirror each other.
Okay.
They start off doing what is in the interest for the best of the king, maybe not necessarily the child, even though it is, but not according to the child. And in the end, they kind of come around to see everything.
Okay.
So I definitely see that. It's a wonderful character.
Yeah.
Really, really good. What else was on your list that did not make my cut?
I don't know why this didn't, but Gus and Jacques.
Okay.
From Cinderella.
So Jimmy McDonald, who voiced Gus and Jacques in the original film, was coincidentally also the then voice of Mickey Mouse.
Oh, wow. That's neat.
That.
I didn't either.
Yeah. I didn't know the same person voiced both of them. Why did you go with that? Because we're going way back. Like most of our sidekicks are much more in the past, I'd say, 2 decades, probably 2-3 decades, as opposed to going way back to some of the originals. Why did you select them?
Well, because I do love Cinderella. I really do. I really like it. It's a very sad tale, unfortunately, where she is the stepsister and then ends up working. But Gus and she takes care of even like the little mice.
Yeah.
And they see that she's treated like this awful person. I mean, much like mice are. People don't like mice. The cat chases the mice and, just things like that. And then they try to help her through the whole thing, which I love, like when they help her get her dress ready. And then there are the horses that lead her to the ball. And I don't know. I just really like them.
I think they see themselves in her and vice versa. She sees her in them. Like you said, they're all treated like animals. I mean, that's the way she's treated by the stepmother and the sisters and all. So that's actually interesting. I had not really thought it through that much. Now, to be fair, I can't say when the last time was I watched the animated feature of Cinderella, beginning to end. I love the live action version. So I don't know. I don't know that it really
she still has the mice in the live action.
Yeah. But I don't know how much it resonated with me in that aspect. But that makes a lot of sense, especially with them, seeing what she's going through and being like, she's being treated like an animal. We're animals. Let's all help each other out. Right? So what was your third pick? You actually added this to the list of all sidekicks that I didn't think of. I'm shocked I missed this one.
I am too. But I added Bruni from Frozen 2.
So according to the junior novelization little book, Olaf is the one who christens the fire spirit with the name Bruni, and the rest of the group call him by his name, though Bruni is never actually addressed by name in the finished film.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know, because it wasn't. It was never in the film.
I never knew.
You know how hard it was for us to find that Bruni for
Yeah.
Lacey? Because we had no idea what it was called.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick Bruni?
Because he's so cute.
He is.
And I don't know. I mean, I guess I just love that he is fire and, cold. He's cold too. He does get cold. He stops and he's just this little cute salamander looking thing. And but he can also get fiery and
It's
mad.
kind of like you.
And, yeah, I don't know. And then like the way he looks, like the way they make him look, and like when she's talking to him, like he answers without, it's just, I don't know. I just super cool.
That's what I think is a really good point, is that, and we're going to cover a few of these, when you talk and I really, there are not a lot of other studios that can do this. Disney has such a knack for creating characters that never technically speak, but are able to convey emotion and messages. And Bruni's, like you just said, is a wonderful example of that.
Yeah.
Never speaks an actual understandable word, but you understand everything that he's saying.
Yeah.
And that's incredible.
Yeah.
And I think, again, that's why people fell in love with a character like Bruni.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on to mine, did not make your list. Who was the first one on my list? And then I'll read a little bit of trivia.
Mushu and Kiki from Mulan.
Yeah, so this was very interesting. So Joe Pesci was originally cast as Mushu, but after a few voice tryouts, the animators didn't think that he was right for the role. In addition to Pesci, Steve Martin, Sinbad, remember Sinbad?
Yeah.
I loved that show.
Yeah.
Hanging with No, that wasn't, oh my gosh, what was this? It was actually Sinbad. I was thinking of Mark Cooper and Hanging with Mr. Cooper for a second. Also a great show. Chris Tucker, Chris Rock, and Drew Carey were also considered to voice Mushu. I'll be honest. I mean, they tried out Joe Pesci, so obviously he didn't work. I think any of those other could have been very good.
Oh, 100%.
But it's pretty tough to beat Eddie Murphy in this role.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy was not able, there's a little extra trivia, Eddie Murphy was not able to reprise his role in Mulan 2 because of contracts that he had with Shrek. Who, by the way, outside of Disney, I'll just say, one of my favorite animal sidekicks of all time is definitely Donkey. Probably my number one, even if you include Disney movies. It's possible.
Wow.
I love Eddie Murphy in those roles. Yeah, I mean, to me, both of these characters, they're looking out for Mulan. They're looking at her best interest. They're trying to help her. And Mushu, Eddie Murphy's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, just an incredible voice actor, an incredible actor. I grew up on Eddie Murphy, not only watching in Saturday Night Live, moving on to things like Beverly Hills Cop, 48 Hours, another 48 Hours,
Wasn't he in Coming to America?
Coming to America is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
I think he's an incredible actor. He's hilarious, and he's a wonderful voice actor, and he brings so much life to this character. I do think that a Chris Rock would have probably been one of the second best, because I'm just hearing voices.
Right.
But I also think Chris Rock is the most comparable to an Eddie Murphy. It would have been so cool to hear like a Steve Martin and what he would have done with that role.
Yeah.
I think it would have been much calmer, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I love these characters very, very much.
And those are the main reasons.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Let's move on first to my, let's move on to this pick.
This one.
Let's move on to this pick. Okay, next. So who are we talking about here?
Bullseye, Toy Story.
Yeah, so Bullseye was originally going to have a speaking voice by, guess who? Martin Short.
Oh, wow.
Talk about that. But John Lasseter decided to make him a non-speaking character since he thought it would be more appealing to audiences.
It was, I think.
Very much so.
What do you think if he would have talked?
I think it would have ruined it.
You do?
And that has nothing against Martin Short. I know in the past, if you go way back, I have expressed, I'm not going to say dislike, but not a love for Martin Short.
Right.
Mostly when it's come to the old Canadian Pavilion show.
Right.
I think he's very over the top, more in a sense that I don't love. I did love him as Ed Grimley, but I found a newfound love for Martin Short during his run on Arrested Development, and then he actually ended up on the Smart List podcast that I adore. And at that point, I was like, okay, I love this guy now. He is incredible. I think it would be interesting. I think that bringing in someone like Martin Short to battle against a Tim Allen and a Tom Hanks, I think it would have been, maybe this sounds stupid, too much star power.
Okay.
And I think that
I understand that.
as much as Martin Short probably could have done a great job, I think he needs to control a role, not be kind of a sub role or a role player or a secondary character.
Or like a sidekick.
Yeah. I think that they would have used him too much, that it would not have worked.
Okay.
He's not a sidekick.
Right.
I mean, even look at what he did in look what he did in Santa Claus 3 as Jack Frost.
Right.
It is a very overpowering role.
Right. Yeah,
So
that's true.
what do you think? I mean, do you think it would have worked? If Bullseye had a speaking role, do you think somebody who would have pulled that off? I think you would have had to take
I don't know.
I think you would have.
I'm glad he didn't.
I agree. So you don't even want to think about it.
Yeah, I'm kind of really glad he didn't.
Okay.
I love Bullseye.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, get non-speaking character that speaks to you, right?
Yeah. 100%.
All right. Speaking of two speaking characters, and we didn't mention this part earlier. Some of these we lumped together, because we felt that they worked together. For example, Mushu and Creaky, they work together.
Yes. Yes.
You hear that sound, right? I found this
you
out
know
the
what
other
it
day.
is?
So yeah. So I was sitting here the other day in our office. You guys can't hear it over the microphones, but just to put you in on what's happening here in our little lives. I was sitting in my office and there is so much stuff. There's so much. I'm not gonna call it junk. None of it is junk. It is all well crafted memorabilia that all has a purpose in life, right?
I might call it junk.
And there is a moment in the day where I start hearing this clicking sound, and I'm sitting at my desk and I'm like, what is going on? I had music on, I turned the music off, and I'm like, I hear this incessant clicking. What is happening? So I just start turning around and looking everywhere. And then I notice at the exact time of day, it's between about 4:30 and 5:30 p.m. because the sun sets in the back of our house. The sun shines through a perfect spot in my window that it hits this tiny solar-powered dancing Spider-Man on the bottom of a shelf behind our desks. And as he does his little hula dance and shakes his hips, almost slightly a twerk, it makes this clicking sound. And you just caught it.
Yep.
What were we talking about? So we did
Lumped them together.
Yeah, we lumped a couple together because we felt that they made sense together. Along with the next one.
Yes. And this is Lewis and Ray from The Princess and the Frog.
I mean, do you think that's not going to make my list?
Well,
right?
yeah. I mean, that's what you wanted me to do this, I guess, last so we can.
I know.
Why did you want me to pick it?
So that we would equal out on it. But so during Gonna Take You There, Ray shouts, "All right, Lulu, let's get to it, darling." This is actually a reference to Jim Cummings, who voices Ray's daughter, also named Lulu.
Oh, isn't that cute?
I think that these are two characters that could have their own spinoff, their own short stories. I know that Raymond is with Evangeline now. I don't know if he will show up in Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I am hoping that there's a star in the sky, 2 stars for that matter. I love these characters. I think they add so much, and I think these are, we'll probably talk about some more, but I don't know that we've gone through so far characters that could carry their entire own story. And I believe these two could. Do you think so?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't love it like you do, though.
I know you don't.
I like
these
them.
Characters?
Huh?
Raymond? How could you not just
I
fall
remember
in love with Raymond?
I do like him, but I remember watching it the last time, like really watching it with you, and I was like, when Dr. Facilier like stepped on him and like killed him.
Why are you gonna bring that up?
I was like, dude, he's a little firefly. He would have been squished all to pieces, and he didn't really even die at that point because they carried him. Remember, I was telling you all this.
You were dark, though. You were dark. You just wanted to see a big pile of mush? It's awful, Rhonda.
I mean,
awful.
That's what happens when you step on a bug.
It is. Okay, that is true. But are you purposely doing this, or is this accidental at this point?
No, this is
not
accidental.
know about
I don't know. I don't.
Okay, you're not purposely stepping on bugs?
No, I save bugs.
You know, the only ones are
depends.
those mole crickets, though. They are detrimental to yards. If I do see one on the sidewalk, I kind of give it a little Dr. Facilier.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Wow.
All others, I will sidestep, but those mole crickets can really do damage to your yards, and we take good care of our yard.
Yeah, well, we
spend good money on it.
I just started to say we
to make
spend
sure
money.
that
Yeah,
it is kept up. I
We
love
spend
those
money
two.
on
Yeah.
to kill bugs.
This is true. That's true. But I don't have to do it. We don't have to do it. We don't have to see it. All right, let's get into our 7 that we actually mashed up on and we agreed. And we're going to lump our first 2 together. Both non-speaking sidekick animal character roles. Who are they?
Pascal and Maximus from Tangled.
Yeah, so Pascal is actually based on a real chameleon owned by artist Kelly Lewis. The day the directors were trying to find a name, the animator said she named her chameleon Pascal, so they took the name.
Oh, that's amazing. That
Pretty
just
cool,
kind of
right?
gave me chills. I don't know why. That's really cool because I wanted a chameleon. And I remember because Rob goes to this exotic animal place and they had one. And apparently they are very hard to keep, alive. And like they're just very hard.
Yeah.
And I guess you can't like quote unquote play with them much where I'd be like wanting to hold him like Pascal, like put him up to this color and see if he changes. Put
It's
him
not
up.
going to work that way.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, fine.
I think these might be the top 2 non-speaking Disney roles ever in my mind.
Yeah.
When you
I
talk
do
about
love
emotion
them.
and you talk about non-speaking speaking and you talk about all these things, like I don't think there's 2 characters that convey more than these 2. I mean, you want to talk about, The Princess and the Frog and having a spinoff there. I think this could literally have a completely non-speaking spin-off series with these 2 never saying a word and have interactions that you would understand everything that's going on. I mean, Pascal, the whole scene when she first meets Flynn and he's just sitting on her shoulder is just, I love it. Again, the facial expressions, everything. Same with Maximus.
Yeah.
I absolutely love these 2.
I
I
love
adore
how
these 2 characters.
Maximus and Flynn have that banter of, fighting. And then at the end, he loves Flynn and realizes, oh, wait, he's actually a good guy.
And that's why we lumped them is even though it doesn't start that way, Pascal is truly Rapunzel's sidekick.
Yes.
And in the end, Maximus is Flynn's.
Right.
Or should I say Eugene at that point.
Eugene Fitzgerald.
Yeah. In the end, they are both the sidekicks to their respective adults.
Mm-hmm.
And I love them. I kind of wish I'd
Respective
left this
adults.
for last.
I was wondering why you didn't, but that's okay.
What's our next pair? Because we do have a couple pairs here. Actually, we have several pairs. Who's next?
Hey Hey and Pua from Moana.
So did you know that the villager that suggests eating Hey Hey is also voiced by Alan Tudyk? Because Alan Tudyk voices the non-speaking Hey Hey, which is why I love him so much.
I don't understand. Because he screams?
Yeah.
That's the only, because he doesn't speak.
No, he does not. He does the screams and such. They also used actual chicken noises and mixed those with Alan Tudyk to provide the voice, or should I say non-voice, of Hey Hey. Now, Pua, I don't think is as much of a character. But
because he doesn't go with
Right.
Moana. He tries to in the very beginning. Hey Hey accidentally goes.
So what I like is that you take a Pascal or a Maximus and they provide a certain amount of comedic relief on a very intelligent level.
Mm-hmm.
We get the complete opposite with this comedic relief.
Yeah.
We get a chicken that is dumber than chickens.
Is he a chicken?
He's a chicken.
So he's not like a rooster.
Well, no, because a rooster is just a male chicken, isn't it? Isn't a chicken a chicken? A rooster's a male and a hen is a female?
I don't know.
Anybody who's a zoologist, chime in at this moment. I know I'm saying like Pascal and Maximus are kind of my favorites as far as like overall showing emotion, speaking without speaking. I think Hey Hey is my favorite comedic animal sidekick there is.
Yeah.
And again, doesn't say a word.
Yeah.
I will laugh at Hey Hey all the time.
It's very funny.
Who is our next pair? And I know you love this one.
Yes, I do. Abu and Raja from Aladdin.
So when a screening of Aladdin was shown to the world famous Steven Spielberg, which would make sense because I feel like a lot of this, especially with the cave scene, is taken from the Indiana Jones Spielberg films. So maybe that's why they showed it to him. Spielberg said he enjoyed Abu's character as he felt the character helped balance the tone of the movie whenever it got too dark or serious. So again, we've got respective humans, Abu to the Aladdin and Raja to Jasmine.
Yep.
Right? Why do you love these characters so much? One speaking? Well, no, neither one of them speaks. Now, Abu technically says some words.
He says, Aladdin.
Yes.
When he tries to wake him up.
Yeah. Because we've talked about this before.
Yeah, I think there's only, I don't know, you could probably Google like
It's very
how many
few
words does Abu say?
So why do you, and I think Abu much more than Raja, but Raja's a protector.
Yes, because I like when he bites the prince or the whoever and has his underwear in his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
That was,
I mean, even when you go to the live action in the Goofy Prince.
yeah.
Abu, I think, but it's the same thing. Abu is a protector of Aladdin.
Yes.
He is looking out for Aladdin's best interest, even if it means stealing for him or, again, being his best friend, basically.
Yep. Well, that's in the animated.
Yeah.
When he sings, he says, "You're my only friend, Abu."
Yeah.
So,
Aw, that's
yeah.
sad.
but not in the live action.
Did you watch Friends? Much?
I mean, I watched it.
Who's the better monkey sidekick, Abu or Marcel?
That's
Ross's
right.
little
There
buddy.
was a little monkey there.
Yeah, there was. Oh, I do love Marcel. Everybody wanted a monkey.
Yeah, everybody does still want one.
Would you want a monkey?
Yes.
I feel like there'd just be poop everywhere.
You put a diaper on him. I don't know.
I mean, our dog wears a diaper.
True that.
So we could have a monkey running around. But it wasn't. I don't think people watched Aladdin and were like, I want a monkey sidekick because it was animated. And they're like, well, they're not going to wear a cute little hat and a vest. Like, that's not real. He's not going to steal
Some do.
jewelry. Some do. But then I think you saw Marcel and Friends and you were like, wait, you can really have one? Like, that's pretty cool. So I bet there was a influx of monkey purchases during that run of Friends.
Okay.
It's got to be out there on the internet somewhere, like home monkey statistics.
I don't know if
is what we would look up.
Where do you get a monkey from?
The monkey store.
Okay.
You just lay bananas out in your yard; they just show up. You put a trail from the zoo. I'm not sure. All right, next we have yet another duo, and I don't think anybody can argue this one.
Yeah, Timon and Pumbaa from The Lion King.
So did you know that I never thought of this, maybe you did, despite the fact that Scar is one of Timon's biggest enemies, they never actually interact with each other in the movie. Crazy, right?
Oh, that's right. I was trying to think when they dress him up. It's not Scar. It's they're trying to, the other ones, the hyenas, right? They were trying to, yeah.
Why did you pick these? Why is this on your list?
Well, it's Timon and Pumbaa. I mean, they both go together
I agree.
anyways.
That's basically all you have to say almost. But.
And they're great because, poor little Simba now, as, poor Zazu, doesn't watch him and they give him the sneak and then the hyenas think he dies and he's out in the desert and Timon and Pumbaa find him and then
they bring him in and make him family.
Right. And then he grows up. He really grows up with them.
I know. And he's like, peace. It's kind of messed up if you think about it. He's like, I'm out.
Who? Simba?
Simba.
I mean, not really. He didn't know. He found everything out. And then he was like, oh, they're hurting my mom? I mean, come on.
No, it's a good point.
You'd go back. You'd be like, peace, too. I got to go. My mom. Gotta go.
That's true. But it's Timon and Simba.
But
so
he
cute.
takes them back with him.
Which Timon and Simba do you like better, the animated or live action version?
I think animated because they actually have their own. Talk about their own stuff. Timon and Pumbaa do.
Yeah.
They have their whole, I think, is it all the...
There were, and I've not actually seen anything past the animated Lion King. I know there was Lion King 1.5. There was a 2.
Yeah.
They do all of the, I don't even know if they're still doing the pre-shows during the movies, the safety pre-shows.
That's what I was going to say.
During the movies
yes.
at Disney Under the Stars.
They have the whole safety thing.
I mean, Nathan Lane in the animated Lion King is such an incredible
they are
voice
neat.
role.
They are, yes.
And I thought Billie Eilish and Seth Rogen actually did a wonderful job. They were my favorite part of the
Billie Eilish.
live action. Billie Eilish. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Billie Eichner. I said Billie Eilish. Oh, that's funny. It's been a week. Anyway.
It is. How has your week been? Mine has not been very good.
I know it. I know it hasn't. Why has yours not been very good?
Well, the last episode, y'all heard that I had a little bit of, and Jeremy even said my sinus wife. And if you could tell, I had a little bit of sinus. Well, it turned into a nice, pretty infection. And I am on antibiotics. And I have been sick this entire week and still working. And then Jeremy's been out of town because his dad had a surgery on his knee. And so he, speaking of moms and dads, he went to go help. And which
just got
we
back
are
yesterday.
blessed that he could.
Yeah.
Everything's good. Yep. Everything went great for his dad and everything. And
we're prepping for farts.
Yep.
So we're going to check out farts on Saturday, which we're very excited for. So we got to get some rest and get all going well. But beyond that, I do think that the live action of Timon and Pumbaa with Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen, I think it's another one that really controlled that film and was a saving grace in it, where a lot of the rest of the film wasn't that wonderful. But I could watch their scenes over and over again. And I loved the way that they brought a very new life to those characters without trying to imitate the originals the way that people can think whatever they want Will Smith did with the genie. I thought that he paid great tribute to Robin Williams that will never be beat ever.
Right. Correct.
But he made it his own. And I thought they did the same thing.
I agree.
Appreciated that. They didn't just try and copy.
Correct.
So, yeah. All right. We're going to go to a single sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely one of the best ever. One of my favorite.
Yes.
Who we cannot pair it up with its partner because he is neither animal or human. He is somewhere in between.
What,
but who are we talking
snowman?
about? The actual animal. Yes.
Sven from Frozen 1.
So get this. If you have ever been in an office environment or something, right?
Yeah.
And somebody brings in, well, even at the salon, right? You got a microwave. And somebody brings in leftover fish, right? And they heat it up in the microwave. And you're like, who brought in the leftover fish, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think at Walt Disney Animation Studios, there was a question. And that was, who brought a reindeer to work? Because it smells even worse. Because the Frozen filmmakers invited a real reindeer into the Walt Disney Animation Studios, observing the animal's physical makeup and mannerisms, which were later caricatured into the design of Sven. I like how they say invited a real reindeer. Like, how many did they send out in the mail? Like, listen, we got
Rudolph.
Here's the top 5 reindeers. Yeah, Rudolph is one. Can you name any more other than Sven? What's the most popular reindeer? Rudolph is number 1. Well, Sven's number 2.
Oh my gosh, hang on. You got Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen.
No, yeah, but you can't.
Comet and Cupid.
Do you think they all got invites?
Blitzen. Yes, that's what I was going to say. You think Blitzen got one?
Probably, and he was like, "Oh man, I got an invite from Walt Disney Studios. This is pretty cool."
Mm-hmm.
Where? Oh, you want me to just come stand around and? But what do you think that place smelled like? Do you think that they had to have the guy with the trash can like they do in the parades?
I don't know
following the horses.
I don't know how their body works. Are they like horses? Where I would assume.
Pretty similar.
They just go to the bathroom when they have to.
It's another question for a zoologist that hopefully one is listening so they can answer this question. I just can't imagine. Like, yeah, you just show up to work one day.
Could you imagine? Can I give it a carrot?
That would be so cool.
Can I give it an apple?
Come to work. We ever seen a real life reindeer? I'm sure we have it like at a zoo or something.
I'm trying to think. Possibly.
Aren't their antlers kind of fuzzy a little bit? Or is that just movie lore?
I don't know.
I'm thinking of the movie Snow with Tom Cavanaugh that I love so much.
Uh-huh.
I've seen a reindeer in that.
You've seen real reindeer on TV.
Yeah. Or do you think the one time we saw it was just a horse and they put antlers on it? Like Max from The Grinch. And it had that red bow around its head. I just thought it had a toothache. Why did we both pick Sven? One of the most lovable characters ever.
It's almost sad because that's the only friend of Kristoff.
I know. When you start.
Yeah.
And you have a non-talking role that talks via Kristoff.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
It is.
I mean,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love when he's like, when he talks to
his own voice. Hey. I can't do. Can't do Sven's voice. All right, let's move on. We have yet another duo, and who are we talking about here?
Flounder and Scuttle from The Little Mermaid.
Yes. So Scuttle did not originate from the original Little Mermaid fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen. In the original story, the mermaid frequently speaks to her grandmother on what she wants to know about humans. It's possible that Scuttle is the closest counterpart to the mermaid's grandmother from the original Hans Christian Andersen story, except that unlike the bird-brained Scuttle, the mermaid's grandmother, on the other hand, is very wise. So we did not pick Sebastian. We did both select Flounder and Scuttle. Why is that so?
Which, in all honesty, the more I think about it, I think you could lump all three of them together. Flounder, Scuttle, and Sebastian.
Agreed. I agree with you.
So
yeah.
I'm just going to do that right now.
Okay.
So it's Flounder, Scuttle, and Sebastian. Because Sebastian, more I thought about it when we were talking prior, Sebastian is great for her. Period. Like,
would you say, going back, would you say Sebastian is the Jiminy Cricket to her? Sebastian is her conscience, right?
Yeah.
I think so. He is, I think, I'm not going to say Scuttle's very much more, again, the bird brain. He's just like, look, here's what I've seen about humans. And he doesn't have any of the information,
only
right?
Finds that out from being up above in the from the water.
Yeah. Flounder is much more of the...
Flounder's a scaredy cat.
Yeah, whatever you say, Ariel.
Right.
I agree with you. I just want you to be happy.
Yep.
I want to do whatever you want to do,
right,
regardless of how it affects you.
Right.
Whereas then Sebastian is that I'm looking out for you. Yep. I want what is actually best for you, regardless of what you think or not.
Right.
So I agree. I think that the trifecta of these three truly makes for quite a team of animal sidekicks, right?
Yes, I completely agree. They are wonderful little, and they all become friends together, kind of. Yeah. They all kind of come together to help Ariel.
No, I completely agree. We're going to move into our last one, and when we do these kind of lists, we don't typically like to rank unless it's like top like 10 to 1. Right. Number 1 is this or that. I don't want to say we maybe failed a little bit in what we're going to mention last, because, and the only reason I say that is, do you believe this is a sidekick or is this a main character? Just here, say who it is. We'll do our little bit and then we'll go from there.
It's Dory from Finding Nemo.
So according to director Andrew Stanton on the audio commentary for the Finding Nemo DVD, in the original story, Dory was going to be a male character. But when Stanton went home to write the script, his wife was watching the Ellen DeGeneres show, and when he heard DeGeneres' voice, he decided to change Dory to a female and cast her in the role, which she accepted.
That's
pretty cool.
Awesome. That's super cool. That's amazing.
Is Dory a sidekick?
I would say so, yes.
In Finding Nemo.
Yes, in Finding Nemo.
Not in Finding Dory.
Correct, because then she gets her own. I mean, that's very possible. I mean, like, take Pascal and Maximus, for example. And let's just say you were like, Pascal, and after this, they had their kind of own movie to show how did Pascal come to Rapunzel, and then Rapunzel's basically his sidekick.
That's a great point.
So
yeah, because we're focusing on the specific movie, not the overall, just say character and whatever else they've been in. So, I think this is some of the best comic relief. I think this is a character you immediately fall in love with.
Oh, 100%.
I've always been a big Ellen fan back to when she had the Ellen show. Like, I mean, she literally had the sitcom. I think that it's a wonderful character. I think it's a wonderful sidekick in this realm. The only reason I was saying like it's weird that we put it last is because she ends up getting her own starring role. But that also shows how many of these other sidekicks have we talked about that get their own complete movie afterwards? Like, none of them.
Yeah.
They're still all bit parts. So I think she really fits that role.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. It's a great show, movie. I mean.
So I am super excited to see what Disney comes up with next. I'm super excited to see what other sidekicks are coming. We could easily, do, like I mentioned before, a whole episode on non-animal sidekicks. That might be one of the next things that we put on the list somewhere.
Okay.
But we do have a lot of cool things coming up. Most importantly, 1 week from now is our Main Street 16 Challenge weekend.
Holy moly, 1 week.
1 week.
Are you ready?
I'm not at all. There's a lot to be done, and that's okay. I'm super excited about it. Benefiting Give Kids the World. You can learn more about the entire weekend's event at mainstreet16.com. Do know that when you are planning that trip to Disney World, Disneyland, you want to get your dining at 60 days out. Oh, womp womp. It didn't exactly work. Do not fret, because Mouse Dining is going to help you out. They're going to alert you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. You can visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. As we prepare for the Main Street 16 Ride Challenge through 4 parks, 14. Touring Plans is going to be a vital asset with their Lines app, because they offer trip planning for Disney World, Disneyland, Universal Orlando, and Disney Cruise Lines with their web and mobile apps. You can catch them live from the parks and the seas by following @Touring Plans on social media. Head to touringplans.com. For $17.95 a year, you can basically have everything you need at your fingertips to maximize your park day.
Nice. Very nice.
Also, go ahead and subscribe. You get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Please.
And we'd be so thankful if you would leave us a rating and review,
because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.